Welcome in to the Investing Bros. I am one of the bros, T Shroom. You're probably used to Tim popping up right about now, but it's actually me. It's T Shroom, and that is because Tim is caught up in some stuff. He's very busy, but he's told me that he's going to be joining the show, so that's really good. I'll just jump right into some stories that I'm watching. MicroStrategy buys another $147 million worth of Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about that one a lot more here in just a second, kind of breaking that down and what the average entry price of MicroStrategy is now. It'd be interesting to compare it to maybe what your average entry price is. But Tim will be joining me in just a few minutes. He assured me that he's going to be trying to get on the stream ASAP. Folks, you are tuned in to the very first afternoon stream for us, for the Investing Bros. It's very exciting. Mr. J was the first chat ever for our afternoon shows, for our 4 p.m. shows. Guys, if you're finding us for the very first time, that's awesome. We usually go live at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we catch the market open for the New York Stock Exchange. Well, guess what time it is right now? It's the closing of the New York Stock Exchange. So it's all kinds of crazy fun over here at the Investing Bros. Let's see what is going on with chat. Eric Wallen popping in. What is up, Aaron? Crimson Caravan saying Alexandria G is in the chat saying, let's go. We've also got Alex O Crypto throwing up some otters. What is going on, Alex? A fellow crypto influencer. Let's see. Mr. J saying, do you have any good facts for us today? Oh, yes, I do. I have been working very closely with the factoid elf, who is unable to pop up as of right now due to circumstances outside of our control. He's in the bathroom, but he'll be back in just a few minutes, and we will get to the factoid. Let's see what else we got going on. Gia S said, "Hey Crimson, what is going on?" Gia said, "It's flipping cold here. I'm guessing you're quite a bit north of Florida." I went outside, and I have to admit, I live in Florida, like just south of Jacksonville, and I went outside and I was like, oh man, it's a little chilly out. And then I realized how much of a sissy I have become, because the summer here in Florida is quite warm, right? It's going to be tickling 90 every single day. Better than Texas though, which is in the triple digits quite often. But we're tickling 90 every single day. And so my body has become accustomed to the warmth, right? But this morning I went outside and it had to have been probably like 70, maybe tickling down into the high 60s. And I thought to myself, I need to put a jacket on. Oh, I've become a doughy little boy, just so vulnerable to the elements. So I'll have to step it up and be a little bit more tough as I go outside. But yeah, we've got some pretty good stories, guys. Again, we are waiting for Tim to come on in, but I'm going to go ahead and press forward into our first story here. Guys, MicroStrategy has bought more Bitcoin. Now, to my recollection, MicroStrategy is terrible at buying the bottoms and tops. It's almost like they signal when a local top is in and that we're going to have a movement to the downside. So I'm just going to preface this all by saying that this could be bearish. Historically, it seems like it's bearish, at least according to my memory, which is very flawed. But it seems like this could potentially, not bearish in the sense of like, oh, sell your crypto. But what this is it's more funny because MicroStrategies and Michael Saylor sometimes they buy the top. Per an SEC filing submitted on Monday between August 1st and September 24th, the firm and its subsidiaries purchased approximately 5,445 Bitcoin for about $147.3 million in cash. Wouldn't you like to be able to say that you just did that? The average price per coin, inclusive of fees and expenses, was approximately $27,053. Not a bad entry. We'll be getting to the charts here in just a few minutes. But with this recent purchase, MicroStrategies has swelled its coffers to an aggregate of about 158,245 Bitcoin purchased at an average purchase price of approximately $29,582. That's their average entry as of now. Let me know in the chat. Is that higher or lower than your average entry? I want to know. I might have to actually put a poll up into that. But I know that some folks have been DCAing since they bought up at the top, like at 69. I am one of those. I bought some decent amount of Bitcoin up at the top. Never sold. Haven't sold a lick of it. and have DCA'd ever since then. And my average entry is not available to me off the top of my head, but I will fetch that hopefully before the end of the stream. Yeah. Okay. So the aggregate purchase price for MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings has amounted to 4.68 billion per the filing. That's quite a bit. That is quite a bit, guys. I don't know what rank that puts MicroStrategies as of now in terms of global holders, but I would imagine it's definitely in the top 5. So let me know in the chat if you guys know. But with Bitcoin down 1.7% on the day and trading just above 26,100 at the time of writing, the fiat value of Bitcoin held on MicroStrategy's balance sheet is currently standing at roughly 4.1 billion. That's pretty wild just to read that. That is just insane. And you get a pretty rudimentary chart here from CoinGecko showing you the little monthly movement, basically unchanged, right? Starting the month where we're ending the month for the most part. Well, hopefully Tim will be able to join us, but I'm going to go ahead and slide into a TradFi story here. This is actually pretty interesting. Amazon is investing $4 billion in an AI startup called Anthropic. Now, Anthropic, for those of you who don't know, I've done some research on it today. They've actually received investment from Google, and let's see what Bloomberg is going to be bringing us in terms of details for this. As part of the deal, Anthropic will move most of its software to Amazon Web Service data centers and use the cloud computing company's homegrown chips to train the models it uses to power chatbots and other applications. Besides getting access to Amazon's computing power, Anthropic will gain a financial infusion that will help it pay the huge costs required to train and run massive AI models. AWS Chief Executive Officer Adam Selpitsky said in an interview on Bloomberg Television that his company initially invested in Anthropic is 1.25 billion, right? So that's how much they already have. So to be honest with you, on the smaller side of the AI companies, the ones getting bought at least, I believe OpenAI was purchased for $10 billion by Microsoft. So that valuation for Anthropic is now, I mean, it's in the private equity world, so I don't know, but I would imagine it's at least doubled. Amazon will have a minority position in the startup, the company said in a statement on Monday. Yes, so important thing to remember is it's not like the Microsoft deal, because when Microsoft bought OpenAI, they bought it all, right? It was a nonprofit, kinda. I guess it was registered nonprofit, and now it's owned by Microsoft wholly. And so there may have been a private equity deal or two in there, but that I'm, just wasn't privy to. But ultimately, the deal is different here with Amazon, because Amazon's still acquiring a minority stake. It's bigger than Google's stake, though. So Google, to my knowledge, in February bought Anthropic for to the tune of $300 million. But I don't know what the share price was then versus now. Maybe this article has a little bit of insight into that, but no, I'm not seeing Google quite yet. So it's interesting. Here we go. Here's some Google language. Yeah. So the company backers, including Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, invested $400 million in Anthropic. Bloomberg reported in February. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying. Yeah. So they're going in it together. Question mark. It's a little bit of a weird move from Amazon. I got to be honest. I'm sure that they've spent millions and millions of dollars on making this decision alone, so it's probably the right one for them. But it's a little bit of a head scratcher from a retail investment standpoint, right? Because it's like Google pretty much had an OpenAI internally with DeepMind, I believe, is the company that they were kind of incubating for AI and AI applications. Well, when Microsoft bought OpenAI, Google had to put their AI into hyperdrive, and they had the luxury of kind of seeing what OpenAI had done and what kind of product they had released that was being adopted, a chatbot, right? So they put that into hyperdrive, and pretty much now you are starting to see that catch up, right? You're starting to see Google's Bard be pretty much as good, which leads me to our next article, which is actually kind of interesting here. So first off, Amazon buying a company called Anthropy for up to $4 billion. The total amount is not known yet, But look at this headline and think of the timing here. So ChatGPT can now speak, listen, and process images, OpenAI says. So that's pretty crazy. Think of the timing here, guys. So let me also break something else down before I get into the details of this article. What you have here is the first mover. And speaking of the first mover, Tim is now in. How we doing, Tim?
What's going on, guys? So sorry I'm late. In case you guys didn't know, I have things going on, but I can tell you guys, I'm so happy about this new show. I'm so happy about this new slot. Thank you so much, T-Shroom, for filling for me and
For sure.
covering. I mean, everyone should know this by now, but in case you didn't, the Bros has always been bigger than me, bigger than T-Shroom. We are a community, and so thank you so much, T-Shroom, and thank you to all you guys who are watching. So glad I'm here, and most times this should not happen, but where are we in the show, T-Shroom? Fill me in.
Right now, we're a little bit off road here, but we were essentially kind of making the comparison between this move that Amazon just did with buying Anthropy, and then also this headline, which is ChatGPT can now speak, listen, and process images. So ChatGPT gets a huge upgrade. It also happens to be the day after I ended my subscription with ChatGPT, just because it's $20 a month. Bard can pretty much do everything that ChatGPT can do now, with some exceptions. For what I use it for, I'm using Bard all the time, right? And so I just ended it. Now, I'm probably going to get it back. I'm probably going to re-up my subscription now because I want to see what it's like to speak with ChatGPT. I've spent so much time with they, and I really want to keep going. I want to keep that relationship going now that I can have a deeper level of intimacy. So it's interesting. It's interesting timing, and I think that Sam Altman's timing here is not coincidental. But Tim, how has your day been? Been pretty crazy?
You know what's crazy is, of course, just like we've said before, there's going to be times where people come into this chat wanting to hear details of chaos and drama. That's not going to happen. What I can tell you, though, is I'm working very hard behind the scenes and all of this. And I just came out of a meeting where I usually save this kind of talk for later on the show, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now before we even get into all the crypto stuff. I came out of a meeting where one of the things we talked about was the enemy of anxiety is gratefulness. It's impossible for the brain to live in a space where you're both anxious and grateful at the same time. And I want you guys to know that this whole process of everything that's happening, it's really been eye-opening to a lot of things in life that I had really kind of taken for granted, and a lot of things that I just hadn't really focused on. One of them being like you guys, like this whole community has been amazing. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be in this space. And I'm grateful for what the future looks like and what it's going to look like. I can tell you guys the future is bright. Crypto is bright. Investing bros are bright. This is going to be an amazing future. And so I just, again, that's usually like an end of show thought, but it's crazy times right now. It's a new show. So, we don't have a flow for it yet. We will get one, but you guys are on this crazy ride with us. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. And Link is popping off, almost up 8%. Almost
Wow.
up 8%. I just wanted to shout that out. But absolutely, we're on this ride together. And guys, like there feels like there's a dark cloud over crypto right now for a couple of different reasons. And there's like a lot of drama that maybe you're even more interested in than usual. And that's an interesting dynamic too, right? But it feels like there's kind of a dark cloud. What I can say is that the dark cloud, I kind of feel it too, but it's almost like laughable because it's we've been here before, right?
Yeah.
There's been whether it be some kind of Binance FUD, whether it be Gary Gensler, suing X crypto company, or whether it be some influencers who are letting some things get way out of control, right? Whatever it is, we could rest assured that there's going to be sunshine. Right? There's going to be sunshine on the other side. And we just have to be patient, and we just have to stick to what we know, right? Which is doing things like zooming out, right?
Yeah.
Gaining perspective, which it sounds like that was kind of what you guys talked about in that meeting. Just getting back to basics.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But speaking of getting back to, let's get back to crypto.
Let's do it.
And I don't know what have we gotten into a lot of stories yet? What are some? I know there's a couple of stories I want to discuss. Further with that, expiry rate and with Coinbase. Of course, we're going to do some charts and going to engage with chat. But yeah, where are we? What's the next topic? What's the next story?
Absolutely. So we discussed already the Michael Saylor story. We probably won't return to that one too much. We talked about Amazon, and then we compared it to ChatGPT and their news today as well, which is exciting. So we can absolutely go into the Coinbase story next, or we could go ahead and get into charts. I think we should do our factoid and then get into charts.
Let's do it.
Let's make the most sense for our flow. All right, guys. So, what proof of work coin is the youngest? Is it
the youngest? Not oldest.
Yes.
Blitcoin. Boltcoin.
There we go. The factoid elf may have stumbled into some fermented berries and may have been a little bit inebriated. There we go. So, what proof of work coin is the youngest? Is it Bitcoin? Is it Kadena, Kaspa, or Ravencoin? We're going to find out on the other side of the TA. But Tim, right off the bat, which one do you think it is?
So this is one of the ones where sometimes you ask questions I'm not familiar with all of them. Now, sure. I'm familiar with these, definitely done research on all four of these. It's obviously not A because that's the oldest, so that's just the factoid elf throwing in a gimme.
The eldest.
I want to say Kaspa because Kadena has had its had its moment in the spotlight. Ravencoin, that spotlight was a while ago. People used to talk about Ravencoin a lot. Kaspa's the new hot commodity out there. It's the new hot miner. I mean, a lot of people talking about mining Kaspa. So I'm going to go with Kaspa. I'm going to go see Kaspa. But good question, Elves. Good question. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts, ladies and gentlemen. We covered them this morning. Let me know in the comment section and chat, how did you guys like this morning's news update that went on? It was a lot of fun to shoot. You and I are going to continue to make that better, but we had a lot of fun shooting it. And every single day we'll have those in the mornings, and then we'll build on that in the afternoon show. But I talked about the technical analysis. I talked about this level. And this has to go with the story that, of course, is big today. The options expiry on Friday. The level to keep your eye on is 26,500. Now, I went and drew this line this morning. You guys can see that Bitcoin has had a good day, an upward day. We actually kind of talked about that in the morning show briefly, that I did suspect, especially with the 4-hour chart prime oversold and green reversal that flashed. I said, don't be surprised to see a little short-term pump. Now, what we're seeing happen right now, I will say we did not get anything green on the MVP oscillator here on the 4-hour chart. We are seeing the RSI, after getting down to 7, start to rally back up. Our oscillator has not caught back up yet. Do not be surprised as the 4-hour candle continues to see our oscillator kind of catch up. No green on the MVP chart doesn't mean that this couldn't have been a bottom. Guys, I'm not going to be surprised to see us actually come up and reject on 26.5. First of all, that's where a lot of people know that Friday's supposed to get to. There's kind of a magnet even pushing us to that level. I also wouldn't be surprised if it goes a little bit over, and then we see the rest of this week kind of a hover around that price. Maybe we come a little down, maybe go a little higher. But there's something that I drew here this morning, and we talked about it in the news update. Let's go ahead and zoom back out to the daily chart. Keep our eyes on this level of falling resistance. We even talked about how this falling level of resistance paired with, when you go back all the way to February of this year, we have actually developed a nice little flat bottom that started with a resistance level in a nice little zone. And this falling level of resistance gives us the formation of a descending triangle. What that means is that this is one of those formations that more often than not, somewhere around 75 to 80% of the time, ends up breaking to the downside. But we're not ready to break just yet. Don't be surprised if we actually see Bitcoin get back up here into this little zone, this little pocket around, this is a former resistance level, 26.8. We hit this red line somewhere. I don't even know if we have to hit it at 26.8. We could just trade sideways and hit this red line over here. But just don't be surprised if we end up breaking above 26.5 only to hit our heads on this falling level of resistance. And then on the way back down, I just am not expecting T-Shroom for us to stay above 26.5 for this weekend. The reason for that is, even though we're bullish here on the 4-hour chart, let's go up to the daily. you guys will see we had a red reversal, and the highest our chart prime oscillator had been since all the way back here back in June. And you guys will notice back here in June, that wasn't even the high. So this is clear bearish divergence that is formed, even if we haven't seen it officially print. You can see it on the RSI. You can see it with the oscillator. My assumption, guys, is that this is exactly as what we predicted in the past. It's time for October to go ahead. As we're wrapping up September, October looks to be a red month where we do find a pre-bull market bottom. Doesn't mean we're going to go down to new bottoms. It just means it's where we'll find our bottom, more than likely, in my opinion, again, right beneath $20,000, filling that CME gap. And we're seeing the news, we're seeing the charts continue to kind of confirm that scenario. But do not be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, to just have a week of a lot of volatility. I don't expect us to drop below 26,000, and I don't expect us to rally above 26,800, 27,000. I think best case scenario, the volatility keeps us in that range, and then we end up closing on Friday, that option expiry below 26.5. That's $5 billion option expiry, going to be pretty big to Bitcoin price. The price goes down. And you guys, here's the thing, guys. Remember I said you cannot have a mind of anxiety and gratefulness in the same thought. So here's the thought to utilize that advice. Lower prices of Bitcoin means better buying opportunities. Be grateful for good buying opportunities coming your way very, very soon. Let's take a look, guys. The other thing on Ethereum, I'm not going to go into too much detail on other coins, but we might even have some time later on the show. You guys can ask for specific coin TA. Ethereum has a little bit further of an upside to go. You can see 4-hour chart looking bullish just like Bitcoin, but its option expiries all the way up here at 1650. That's a big difference. Let's just kind of even look at percentages right now. Bitcoin's price as we are speaking, and this is one of the reasons why I think it could go up a little higher, because I don't expect Ethereum to make a massive move without Bitcoin. But as it stands right now, Bitcoin is less than 1% away from its option expiry price. However, if you were to come over here to Ethereum, that's going to be a little bit of a different. It's not going to be like crazy, but we are about over 3.5, almost 4% away from the options expiry. Looks like Ethereum could potentially have a little bit more room to the upside. And you're going to see that when we come over here to Bitcoin dominance. I said that earlier when I was looking at the charts. We did not have the bullish divergence, or not bullish divergence, the bullish flashes we do on the Bitcoin dominance. So to me, that's what I'm almost watching is don't be surprised to see Ethereum kind of get pulled back up as we get towards Friday, closer to this 1650. Would not be surprised to see Ethereum touch 1650 here at some point, just as kind of a last second fake out to the bulls. Don't be surprised to see Bitcoin probably in that same realm. It looks like it's going to pick up dominance on Ethereum. So let's just imagine it's going to go, that's hard to imagine. 3% for it would be kind of pushing above 27,000. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm kind of looking at this, guys, and saying either Ethereum's not going to even get close back to its level, or Bitcoin dominance is going to lose a little bit to Ethereum. I do not see Bitcoin rallying 3% and going over 27,000, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's look at Cardano. Of course, we have a big community that loves Cardano. Let's take a look at the charts. Some big bullish flashes have happened here recently. The good news is they're bullish flashes. The bad news is, remember what happens in bearish trends. When you're setting lower highs and you're setting lower lows, which is what Cardano is doing, another thing that you will see happen is bullish flashes get ignored. So recently we've had green reversals, oversolds, peak seekers, bullish divergence, and yet the price keeps going down. In fact, many of these signals you can see got ignored. That's a classic sign of bearish trend. We are sitting super low on Cardano's price. We're back down in the 24-cent region. And I think there could be even a little bit of a bounce, but I'd be very surprised if we set a higher high than 25.7, which is what we just set here back on the 19th. More realistically, if I were to even pull up our Fibonacci levels right here, very short-term limit Fibonacci, I think it'd be impressive for Cardano to get back to 25.1 cents. And I do not expect us to go any higher than that. I think we still are in the crypto space as a whole in a bearish trend. Of course, we have some outliers. The last one I'm looking at, Chainlink this morning, of course, rallying up. Chainlink kind of on its own little trail. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but remember I showed you Bitcoin, showed you Ethereum, showed you Cardano. All of those were in bearish trends with lower highs and lower lows. Well, In the same time period, Link is the opposite. We are setting higher highs, higher lows. We're ignoring all of these bearish divergences, red reversals, overbought signals. This is the sign of a bullish coin. What I'm watching, though, is as this momentum continues. Let me even see what the daily chart's doing with these oscillators. Give me whoa, even the daily flashing. But you can see we ignore. See, that's bullish. Ignoring a daily overbought sign. Keep an eye on this falling level of resistance that has been in place since all the way back in November of 2022. It would be hard to get above that level. But again, with these signs that we're ignoring bearish flashes, that's very bullish. Seeing us set higher highs and higher lows on the 4-hour chart is very bullish. But I do think somewhere in the range of $8 could prove to be a level of resistance for Chainlink. Let's watch as the price gets closer. That is the TA that we have for today. Of course, that TA brought to you by Chart Prime. You guys know that we use them every day. We love them. Check out the link down below for 45% off your first month or first quarter, the best deal that you're going to find for that indicator. With that said, let's get the answer from our trivia question of the day and then get back into some of these crypto stories. We still have got a good amount of show left. We should definitely have time for some Q&A / TA requests before 5 o'clock.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Let's do it. Let's check out the factoid of the day. And our factoid elf is going to help us out on this one as well. Let's check it out. So the answer is Caspa. And we know that the answer is Caspa. Great job, Tim. We know that the answer is Caspa because there's a fair value launch here, caspa.org, November 7th, 2021. It is the youngest crypto proof of work on that list, at least.
You know, T-Shroom, I think that's 3 in a row. I'm actually on a little bit of a trivia roll.
Yeah.
After I think I have one spree of, I think I had like 4 wrong in a row. So I had not a great start.
It's possible.
Not a great start to this segment, but I've been on my game here recently over the last couple of shows.
Absolutely, yeah. Good. Factoid Elf's going to have to start throwing you some curveballs, perhaps.
Yeah, I think what happened was he was giving me some top-level questions at first, really making it hard. I think they've gotten a little easier, and maybe that's an insult to me. Maybe the trivia elf was like, dude, Tim is too dumb for these questions. Got to make it easier. But it's time to start leveling back up. Start making those questions hard.
The trivia elf just doesn't get out much. Very antisocial, so doesn't really know how to be properly engaged with people. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Let's read. Swashbuckling Scallywag says, "Will you shave your head into a mohawk again?" Do you guys really think I had a mohawk? I didn't have a mohawk, but I did have the shaved sides, and I left it up top. The problem is I literally hadn't had a haircut in literally 4 months. So my hair on the sides, it grows so long it starts to curl, and that's annoying as I'll get out to me. So I just like having the shorter hair, but I don't know. Do you guys want a mohawk? Do you want a legitimate mohawk, like a Druth level mohawk? Now that's the guy that has an actual mohawk. I don't think though. I don't think Taylor would let me. Not T-Shroom, Taylor, my wife.
Neither Taylor.
You won't let me either. Okay, good. Yeah. We should grow a mohawk, T-Shroom.
Yeah, we'll talk about
a reverse mohawk, maybe.
Yeah, I think that could be fun.
Yeah, that could be good.
I did see some tickers thrown out. Cartesi, CTSI, AMP, and
Cartesi.
Matic. I think Matic would be a good one to do faux show.
Yeah, I'm going to write those down and we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's get into a couple of the stories here that we haven't covered quite yet. Oh, we mentioned this in our morning show. Come along, Factoid Elf. There you are. Crypto traders brace for nearly 5 billion Bitcoin and Ether options expiry. Tim was talking about this during the TA, but here are the facts, bros. On Friday, 117,000 Bitcoin options contracts and 1.1 million ETH options contracts will expire. And the pain levels, as Tim talked about, for Bitcoin are 26,500, and for ETH, it's 1,650. Traders are expected price to remain stable at the expiry. Well, that's already kind of been broken. I'd say the price action from today was not stable to the upside. So volatility present. Tim, anything else to say on that, or do you feel like we've kind of played that one out?
Well, again, yeah, we talked very heavily about it in the TA section. Again, there's 2 expectations I have of this. One expectation is we're not going to get on Friday. The close is not going to close above those levels. I don't think. Again, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong and it closes above them, that's good. And maybe we are able to continue to hold 25-2, that strong level support. But my expectations are that we won't make it, and that'll be a longer term. We'll start off October going red. and we'll have some bearish weeks there. The other expectation is, guys, the price is not going to get too far away from 26.5. Just so you guys know, this has to do with how whales trade, how experienced traders trade. They know that level is very important. And you almost never, unless there's something catastrophic in a black swan event style, you're not going to see the price get too far away from that level when the option expires, because that makes it too easy for people to trade. Rather, the closer we stay around that level, it gives the bulls hope. It gives people hope to be buying and buying and buying. And the way these experienced traders make money is when they can short or go away from what people expect, they're able to make some money off of you. So giving bulls hope that we can save that options expiry and then sweeping it out from under them right at the end is a classic from more manipulative and experienced traders. And remember, I say that you shouldn't be mad at these traders. They're just trying to make a money. But there's no money in trading that doesn't mean one person is taking the money from somebody else. That's just how trading works. The truth is, you just got to learn how to be the one that takes. And then after taking other people's money, you get yourself in a position where you're so wealthy and you're so established, you're able to help others as well. And, you know, it is what it is.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
You ride off into the sunset on your Bitcoin yacht. Love it. Yeah.
Perfect.
There are more stories, believe it or not, in the world of crypto. Coinbase successfully registered with Spain's central bank. Now, this isn't a huge story from a dollar amount, but this is good for adoption, I guess. I mean, we'll see. So we'll see. Registration with the Bank of Spain is a mandatory step to offering crypto-related services, and registered firms have to comply with the country's anti-money laundering standards. Been listening to a lot of content, a lot of podcasts on anti-money laundering recently. Some historians that I've been hearing have called it the beginning of the end for the world, anti-money laundering. So there's some folks who aren't big fans of it. While the country does have a licensing regime for crypto firms, doesn't have that. Spain will be required to implement one under the European Union's recently finalized MiCA regulations for crypto issuers and service providers set to take effect in 2024. Kind of hoping to see maybe something related to Coinbase a little more. The regulatory clarity brought by MiCA provides the industry is hugely welcome. So there's not really much outside of the headline here, and just a little bit of context about Spain's existing laws. What this means to me, to be honest with you, this is a pretty narrow headline, and it sounds to me like this kind of got rushed out for some reason. There's not much meat to this, right? But I mean, it is a big occurrence because now Coinbase is going to be kind of a test case for really heavily syncing up with a central bank in Europe. Spain's population is not giant, right? But it's significant, and there's a decent amount of money there. So, to be honest with you, I don't really know how to break this story down too much. Other than it seems like a positive for Coinbase, and it could be a good.
They've been getting a lot of wins recently.
They have.
Say what you will about what they're doing. Their business is doing very well. I mean, in fact, what is the Coinbase stock at the moment? Because they've had a lot of wins. Up 1.1, up at 1.11 today. It didn't quite play out the inverse head and shoulders that we had talked about a while ago. But guess what it's at right now? Okay, I didn't even look at the oscillator for a second, even though I had it pulled up. Look at how bullish this is right now. 4-hour chart. We're down in a golden pocket. We're getting the overbought
Super
green
bullish
reversal. The MVP oscillator has been flashing higher levels, not the highest levels we've seen recently, but high levels of green histograms. RSI down at 16. Yeah, Coin, because that's Coinbase. I think that we're going to see a little bit of spike here in the next couple of days.
Yeah. I got another one here. Base surges past Solana as total value lock nears 400 million. So Base is the layer one that Coinbase has rolled out, and now it's doing better than Solana. Now Solana's not like the tippity top of the chain of the world of crypto, but it's pretty significant to pass Solana for something that was released less than 3 months ago, I believe, Base. So let's see. I think that might actually do it. That might have been all the stories. Yeah.
Cool.
So we're playing a little crazy ball today with trying to juggle a lot of different things. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of significant headlines today with Coinbase, MicroStrategy buying back in, and Solana actually getting passed by Base. I am a little bit shocked by that in terms of the TVL. So that is pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, well, We can absolutely get into some more TA. Ada Ace came in. Of course, we love Ada Ace. He asked for more Ada. Go figure. He also said, "Tim, I love your pillow." Do I? Oh, I do. I was like, "What pillow?" I forgot. I have a Cardano pillow back there, right behind Dwight Schrute bobblehead.
Tim, do you remember Trevor that we did that ruck with?
Yeah,
So Trevor's in the chat. He said, "But how does this affect LeBron's legacy?"
that's true. How
It's-
does it affect LeBron's legacy? That's a good question, Trevor.
Tre-
Good
Trevor is a
question.
normie. He's a non-crypto guy, but he's really smart. And one
Well,
day he'll buy some
yeah,
crypto.
he does play in the crypto.com arena, correct? Isn't
Oh,
that the Los
LeBron
Angeles
James?
arena? Don't the Lakers play in the crypto.com arena?
I don't know.
I think so. I think they
LeBron's
do.
legacy, I feel like, is pretty bearish at this point. I mean,
Well, he's getting
from,
old.
from like an
So, but his
NBA,
legacy is
yeah,
good. His legacy is still good. He'll go down as, some will say the greatest, others will say the second, some will say third, but I think he's a lock for top 5 player of all time,
yeah, and that's going to be the end of our
And that's going
coverage
to be
of
the end of
LeBron
LeBron
James.
James' talk on this show. Good idea. I met a guy the other day, T-shirt, and we're going to get in TA. I met a guy who, he's a cool guy. Crypto Hoops, I think. He tried to make a channel talking to me about, he made a channel talking about his passion. His passion was crypto and basketball. Tried to mix them. I did tell him, I was like, it's probably something you should split up. But there are people out there that care about basketball and Crypto Hoops is one of them. Crypto Hoops, if you're watching, shout out to you. Let's do some more TA here. And you know what? I'm Ada Ace because I love you so much. He asked for a little more detail on Cardano, and we got lots of time. We got a lot of time to engage with you guys. So let's do it. Let's look a little bit deeper here into Cardano. Now, he said that he saw hidden bearish divergence on the chart, and I'm going to look around. Let's go down the hourly chart. It really depends. You got to look at different time frames and seeing what you have developing. So, Chart Prime is not going to flash anything. It's not looking like it's flashing anything right now. What I could consider, I think what he might be looking at is right here. But again, that's not hidden divergence yet, because while technically I would say that the prices are pretty stinking close to the same levels, that's technically they both are falling. So 1 hour doesn't have any divergence there. 4 hour does not have any divergence that's playing out right now, I guess is the best way I should clarify that. Let's go 12 hour. I don't expect 12 hour and daily to look different necessarily. You definitely, now it already played out, but that was bearish divergence right here. This is a higher high in our oscillator. That's clearly a lower high in the price action, but we got that mixed with the red reversal. So we already got the negative side effect from that. And let's go look at the daily chart, and then we'll go look at weekly. I guess we'll work our way up. He says 4 hour chart. I don't see it on the 4 hour chart.
Did you look at the Bitcoin monthly, by the way?
Not today, which we should.
That's okay.
Good point. Let's go back
Carry
and
on.
look at
Well,
monthly.
the title you probably don't know, but the title is Bitcoin Bulls Fight to Keep September Green. So that is something to know.
Yeah, dude. Matt C just said Indie Rock Crypto if you really want to see Tim. He said Tom cry, but I'm assuming he means Tim, because I don't think Tom Crown cares about sports. Could be wrong. Let me know, Tom Crown, if you know. Yeah, I will.
Cool
Virginia
guys
Tech
love sports, though.
makes me
so
cry.
You probably like sports.
It's true. 4 hour chart here. I see what you're saying. No, you know what? Okay. I might have judged a little too quickly. Ada Ace, you are technically right, but this isn't over yet. Let me explain why this is not quite over yet. I want to see a couple. I would say if this 4 hour candle that is active right now closes red, I think you have a good case for bearish divergence here. Why is that? Well, technically speaking, let's go back to this peak right here. And it's really hard to see, but I'll full screen it just so you guys can. That is a higher level of oscillation.
It is.
I don't even know if oscillation is the word we use here. I don't know. I'm just making this up as we go. That's a higher level of oscillator for sure on the 4 hour chart. But in that same time period, if I'm looking at the price action, we are seeing a little bit lower of a price bottom. So we're going right here, boom, to right here, boom, which is also really, that's really weird the way that candle is right there. This chart is, they overlap each other. Point is, technically price tops are getting lower while oscillators going. So ding, 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 Ada Ace gets the chicken dinner for tonight.
Nice.
Go pick it up at CVS. You have to pay for it, but you do win it. because you did find some hidden bearish divergence. One of the reasons, that adds to stuff we were talking about earlier that I do think Cardano, we're talking about a move to the downside for sure. Let's take a look at some other things though,
Wait,
not
did you
just
say
oscillators.
CVS? Go pick it up at
I
CVS.
just, I
There's
just
no
was
chicken.
thinking,
Maybe like a frozen dinner.
what did you think I was talking about? It wasn't that big of a find. He's not getting like a home cooked meal. We're talking about a frozen dinner from CVS. No offense, Ada Ace, but
No offense,
let's
CVS.
not a little offense, a little offense to CVS. Let's take a look at some other things here. Let's pull up our Market Oracle and Dynamics Pro. You can see we are pinching here on the 4-hour chart. Those waves, the most recent bounce was actually kind of coming down here into the bullish wave, so the support level. We're hovering right here above. We do have the dynamic reactor right back above us. Oh, look at that, actually, guys. That's going to kind of correlate with our Fibonacci levels. Look at where that is. It's sitting right at the golden pocket that I mentioned a little bit earlier when we were doing some more TA and Cardano. So we are seeing kind of some confirmation that if we get, again, I told you this candle, we could go down and then bounce back up. If we get a bullish push, I definitely am going to be keeping my eyes. Let's just go ahead and draw this right here. I'll even draw it here. We'll put it all the way down to the 0.5 level. Maybe we see the dynamic reactor kind of fall to that level. So keep your eyes on this zone between 25, about 25.1, and maybe as low as right below 25 at 24.9. Let's take this down. Let's take a look at what we're seeing for multi-time frame support and resistance. Also, we have some order blocks. Now, we have an order block below us we did not fill down here that actually goes as low as 24.2. 24.2 cents, that is. We have an order block above us kind of coming up to the bottom of that level right there. We have one coming up to about 24.9 or so. Now, we do have some larger ones up here, but I do not believe if we're going to see Bitcoin kind of stay low, if we do not see a spike, and right now Cardano is absolutely playing the field of just following the general directions of Bitcoin, we will fill this, guys. Don't worry. It's not like we're never going to see a 26-cent Cardano again. It just might not be until the price is ready to shoot to the upside. I'm going to continue to believe that this is just not altcoin season right now, guys. That doesn't mean no altcoins can have some good price action. It just means as a whole, they're not going to. And I don't think Cardano, unless some big update or big news comes out, there's no catalyst right now that's actually going to push Cardano up to 26 cents. Would love to be wrong, but I also, again, in the series of thinking through positivity, I still would love to buy more Cardano at 18 cents. What about you, T-Shirt? You want to buy some down there
At 18? Yeah, I'd pick
at
some
18?
up. If I could. It's kind of hard to put a limit order on Cardano with everything I have, at least.
That's true. I mean, yeah, you definitely lost access on Robinhood and
No.
some others. Let's keep moving. Just get Coin. Honestly, guys, like default, just get Coinbase.
I could just do it on Coinbase, yeah.
Yeah, don't just leave money there. I absolutely still advise using, especially all the lessons we're learning recently. Use Coinbase as an on-off ramp. Move stuff to cold wallets. Just good advice. Let's take a look at Matic because that was one of the suggestions, one of the asks. Interesting. Now, we did remember I talked about Ethereum and Cardano and Bitcoin being in these lower high, lower low bearish trends. Well, Matic has not officially changed into a bullish trend, so let's not get too excited. And technically speaking, this is just like this is like more of like a sub movement, but we did kind of set a higher low here. Now we did it back here as well. You guys can kind of see right in here. We hit this low back in August on the 22nd, started a little bit of upward move, and then we broke it and moved to the downside. But right now, we absolutely set another support level. Boom, right there. Could be very interesting. Let's watch to see how the price moves to the upside. But let's take a look at those oscillators. 4-hour chart looking bullish. We did ignore that though. So again, when you're looking at bear trends, guys, keep an eye on when bullish indicators flash. Look at this right here. Look at the MVP oscillator flashing green histograms. We had some bullish divergence, a green reversal. We had an engulfing candlestick on the RSI, and yet which way did price go? Yet traded sideways for a little bit and then it dipped again. Now we got a new bullish flash, and that's great. I love it. And there's a chance we ended up using that and moving to the upside. But when you see bullish indicators rejected or ignored, that tells you something about the significant push of the bears at the moment. And again, on the 4-hour chart, while we just set this little higher low, when you kind of zoom out, you go to the daily chart, it's not necessarily sitting in a great spot. Yeah, we had an oversold bullish divergence, peak seeker right here, but you guys can see right there, boom, same thing. We had it, and price kept moving to the downside. We are overwhelmingly still moving to the downside when it comes to Matic. I've told you guys before, Matic is one that I'm looking at somewhere in this region. I do think when we get this bigger push in October, I think best case scenario, we're looking about 43 cents back to some price level we had back here in July. I think worstest case scenario, 32 cents is an interesting spot to watch. That was the low of the bear market we set back in June of 2022. Definitely keep your eyes on those levels. But again, when you zoom out, you're not seeing overwhelmingly bullish butterflies on the Matic chart. Matic is a great project. It's going to have a great bull market. The relationships they have and what it accomplishes for Ethereum is phenomenal. That doesn't mean short term. It's great. Let's take a look at some of our indicators here. Now, this is a good sign right here. I love seeing us kind of ride the wave of the bullish band, of the support band. That could, again, love to see it, could give us a little bit of a spike, but you guys can see we're back above it. Would not be surprised to see us pull back again down into here, into the lower levels of this. Again, look at that wave. It kind of gives us in that. Remember, I told you probably at least around 42 cents. That would keep us in this bullish wave. I could absolutely see it happening. Here's another, ignoring one on the daily chart. Really, even though we had a little bit of rally there, we kind of ignored this reversal. These reversals are very strong. They're very good at calling it. And again, look at this. I mean, look at this reversal right here. Called that top perfectly. Did not want to use that. What am I doing? Stop. Don't want to use this. When you look out here, take down my oscillators. Perfect call. Perfect call. Perfect call. Perfect call. Not a perfect call necessarily. Decent. That one wasn't a perfect call either. Got to be fair when they're not perfect calls. But when you ignore them, it's kind of a perfect call, because even though it looks like we kept going up, that actually we had a big fall after that reversal. So it was a good indicator. When you ignore an indicator like we did back here, right here, where we didn't have any serious bullish momentum, that's another thing to be like, all right, I lost that trade. I bought because I saw that strong reversal. If I pull up the oscillators, let's see. Yeah, I see oversold. I see green reversal. I'm going to buy. Set your stop loss. You lost that one. It happens. Good traders lose. Not every time and not the majority of the time, but they lose sometimes. But I could tell you right now, and I'm not saying that everyone should use this strategy, but I'm telling you right now, if you simply using chart prime oscillators and this market oracle just bought every single time you see a green reversal that corresponds with a bullish oscillator and an MVP oscillator, if you bought all those times, you're not going to win 100% of the time, but you will win more often than not. And if you know how to properly use stop losses, then you will end up being a successful trader. That's one of the reasons why we suggest Chart Prime, is because I still recommend you learn fundamental TA. I love continuing to use formations. I love continuing to use Fibonacci and other things as well. I love using other oscillators. But even just if you didn't understand that typical stuff and you just had this indicator, there are so many good confluence strategies that it offers that you could be a very successful trader using kind of dumb mentality trading it. Now, again, I always recommend continuing to up your level of education and understanding, but that's what Chart Prime is here for, to help you even if you don't fully understand TA just yet. Let's take a look. What was another coin? Well, let's look, actually, before I do that, let's go to our Market Dynamic Pro. Let's look. Yeah, we're kind of hovering on the lowest level of multi-time frame support and resistance. Let's go to the 4-hour chart, just see if we have a couple more levels beneath us. Not really. We're at that lowest level. We have a little, we kind of just bounced off of it and had an order block down here towards 50 cents. We have order blocks above us. Again, I don't, when looking what we saw with Bitcoin, I'm not expecting us to make a serious push back up towards 55 cents and fill that order block for right now. But again, with us being low, it's still possible. Definitely keep your eyes on that level. I don't even know if we looked at oscillators here. A lot of bullish flashes, but again, I'm getting tired of saying this, but I want to say it to make sure you guys understand. Ignoring bullish indicators, not a good sign. Or sorry, not a good sign in the right direction to the upside. Absolutely could see us coming down here, filling this order block, getting a little bit lower here, getting back down into our green support band that is currently climbing right now. So that's actually a positive sign as well. In the shorter term. But that's what we're seeing there with Matic. T-Stream, I'll let you let go. And I know we have some other suggestions here, but let's take a break, a pause. I don't have a drink, so I don't like, is that one? Just have to get some spit back in my mouth. So
that's
that
delicious, Tim. Now, one thing I wanted to say was, if you're watching this show for the very first time, you might be, because it's the first time we've ever gone live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our first afternoon show. And guys, I'm loving it. Tim sounds like he's loving it. Maybe a little dehydrated, but he's loving it. if you're loving it too, subscribe because we're going to be doing this every single day at 4 p.m.
Mhm.
For those of you who are new, we have been extremely consistent. I mean, we've maybe missed one day since we started November 30th, this channel.
I think
And
we've missed a couple days, but not a lot.
yeah,
And
we're one of the more consistent. We start on time, and we're not just saying that to puff ourselves up. But it's just reference for what you can expect from this channel.
Yeah.
We're human, so we might miss, but it's pretty consistent. So we want you on board, right? This train is headed to brighter pastures, and we want you on it. We want you to be part of the team. So go ahead and subscribe. And if you've been watching for a while and you're not a member, why don't you go ahead and join? Go ahead and click that join button. It's just above, right to the right of the Investing Bros. It's a little bit small. Let me show you guys where it's at. Got the the Investing Bros logo right here, and all of our subscribers. And then you've got the join button right here. You can hit that join button again. If you're brand new, don't feel any obligation to do that. But if you've been hanging around, right, maybe you've even dipped into the Discord, it might be time to become a member of YouTube.
Yeah. Speaking of members, and we love all of them, Eric Wallen said this show needs more drama.
Yeah.
No, it does not. Tim doesn't need any more drama. It would be a very good way. Ooh, what was that? What was that flash right there? Pepe the
Nothing.
Frog making an appearance?
No, it's just
Is there drama between Pepe the Frog and the elf?
no.
The factory elf?
No, Tim.
All right.
No
Yeah.
drama here. Drama free, baby.
Oh my goodness. I think we need a Tim Warren rant. I'll tell you what. I have topics that I'll rant on. Dumpster cats, pineapple not belonging on pizza, for definitely going to get you in there. Marriages, not marriage, but wedding days, I guess. Weddings definitely get me going with my thoughts on them. But which, of course, by the way, in case we haven't said it recently, continual congratulations to T. Shroom, who is going to become a husband himself in the near future.
That's right. Very excited. We are right in the middle of planning because you have to plan a year in advance. We're right in the middle of planning for our June 1st wedding.
See, that's one of my big grievances is you do not have to plan. In fact, I think small rant right here. Weddings are fake news. They're propaganda to make you spend stupid money. I am all about courthouse, elope. Use that money on a house or a car or bills or something else, not a party.
So the way that it's panning out is I'm probably only going to drop about $2K, maybe $3K on the whole thing.
Too much money.
Because we have families who have made wise decisions with their money over the years.
I'll tell you, you know what that $2,000 could do if you moved it into some Cardano or some Ethereum or some Bitcoin or some Matic.
I think it's worth the investment into the future of my relationship with the beautiful young lady, Amanda Miller. Why don't we look at some monthly charts of some different assets? One that comes to mind is NVIDIA. Look at this nice red buyable candlestick. Now, maybe it's going to come back. You might make the argument, going to come back to test this former resistance here that has flipped into support. Well, actually, flipped into support right here. Maybe not as much as you would like to see at 350, basically. 350 clean, 350 even. So NVIDIA might be kind of buyable. I was just actually looking at gold too. Gold's kind of nice on the monthly charts because this is going way back, guys. This is like 2000, not 2000 years, the year 2000. 2007 is back here. But it's been sideways. So you've seen it come up here and tap $2,000 per troy ounce or whatever it is, and then tap it again, and then tap it a third time. But what you'll notice is that the reversal this time around is a lot more reluctant, right? Meaning that the buyers aren't letting go of spot price of gold so easily. What do you think about that, Factoid Elf? Then we've also got Microsoft here looking a little bit more like NVIDIA, which makes sense.
True.
But then let's take a look at Yield Bitcoin, because as our title says, Bitcoin bulls are fighting to keep Bitcoin green for the month of September. This is the last month of September. We're doing all we can. And certainly Michael Saylor is. Do you think that Michael Saylor's buying was time to try to keep this candlestick green, Tim?
No, I think that my man has an ultimate DCA strategy. I mean, he's been buying since the top. He is not, let's put it this way. Michael Saylor's not a swing trader. Swing trading is it's like kind of like DCAing, only you're choosing levels. He does not care. When this man buys Bitcoin, it is not because he went to a price chart and looked at the price of Bitcoin that day. This is a man that buys Bitcoin when he goes to his bank account and says, I have some money. Let's buy Bitcoin. That's when he buys Bitcoin.
Right.
But it's because, and I want to put this in perspective, because some people can be like, oh, that's so dumb. Why did you buy the top? Remember, we've discussed this before, everybody. Some people are going to say you were an idiot if you bought it 69,000. But let's just think in the future. Like right now, it's a good buy to get 25,000 or maybe even a little lower. In the future, when Bitcoin is sitting at 500,000, we're starting to get towards 1 million. Who knows if it gets into multi-millions? And you hear about a story of a person buying at 69,000, you're going to think they were genius. In the same way, how long ago do I have to go back to do this? I have to look at the chart. But people that were buying Bitcoin back in 2017 during the bear market, during the bull market top at that time, guess what they were buying it for? They were buying Bitcoin for $19,000, $20,000. Now you and I are sitting here saying, I want to get some $20,000 Bitcoin and we're going to get another chance. At the time, that was the dumbest place to buy. You back up further. You go back all the way here at, what is this? November of 2013. People were buying at $1,242. Well, guess what? That was a bull market top. People said they were stupid. And guess what? If you could buy at $1,200, you would do it in a heartbeat. What's my point here? Michael Saylor is not thinking about what's the best thing for my money in the year 2021. He's not thinking about what's the best thing for my money in the year 2023 or 2024 or 2025. My man is thinking about what's the best thing for my money in the year 2035, in the year 2040. What's the best thing in the long term? And he does not care about what the price is right now because he sees the larger picture that Bitcoin is moving up and to the right. So when people call him foolish or dumb, it's because they're not playing the same game as him. They have way shorter time frames of how they think about their investments. This is a man that is thinking about the next 15, 20, 30 years, and I respect him for it.
Yeah. Now, I kind of joked at the top before you joined the show that he tends to buy the top sometimes of,
He does.
of the Bitcoin.
He does.
Yeah. So you agree. Yeah. I remember that being the case. Yeah, it's kind of funny. But that's just a testament to exactly what you just said. Their buying is probably a lot less to do with price action, a lot more to do with internal liquidity. Because I think their policy is let's buy as much Bitcoin as quickly as we can without taking on internal risk to our business model, which, if you don't know, they also make a lot of software, right, and software consulting. But they try to put all of their profits into Bitcoin for a much more long-term vision of software. So it's kind of a stretch if you're it's not a stretch if you're Michael Saylor level ability to explain Bitcoin and orange pill people. It's not a stretch at all. But if you're somebody like Warren Buffett and Michael Saylor is trying to sell you this dream, it might be a little bit of a stretch. It's harder for older folks to understand because their main concern is Bitcoin isn't tangible. I can't touch it. Well, somebody like Michael Saylor, who's been studying the intricacies of software development, looks at Bitcoin and says, this is the most tangible currency we've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever. And so it's just, different strokes for different folks. But what do we got, Tim? What are you pulling up here?
What I was going to say is it's hard to argue with a man or call a man foolish unless he stole money. Here's the thing. If he stole money or came into this money in some illegal or inappropriate way, all right, I have a problem with it. But I haven't heard anything that he's done. It sounds to me like he's just a businessman who's made money, he's made the right investments. It's hard to make fun of a person who owns 17,000, almost 18,000 Bitcoin worth $3 billion now. How much is that going to be worth in the next couple of years? Even how much is it going to be worth in 2025? Then how much is it going to be worth in 2030? My point is, anyone who makes fun of the purchases that Michael Saylor makes, he doesn't give two farts what you think of his decision making, and he's wiping his tears away. I was going to say with dollars, but he's not wiping with dollars because he didn't hold dollars. He has to use his hands like the rest of us, but he's doing it from behind his computer where there's $3 billion. So we got a super chat from Matt C saying, thank you to all of you who have taken the time to be here at the new time on day one. Can't tell you how much we appreciate all of the support. Thank you so much, Matt C, for that support. And I 100% agree, because this is the thing. It's like
you agree. What?
I agree. Yeah. We knew when we switched time, it's going to be a slow start. Like, we're rebuilding this community. We're growing it. We did move from a morning show. We are still putting out morning content, but we moved the live show into the afternoon for a lot of different reasons. But one of the biggest ones, to make mine and T-Stream's life a little easier with the things we have to do. We weren't expecting to, like, we'd been averaging, like, a lot of our videos were getting 800 to 1,000 views per live stream. We were getting up over 160 concurrent per stream, some of them going up to 200 concurrent. We didn't expect those same results to come over. We knew we're going to be engaging with a new audience. Some would be able to come with us, some would not be able to. But continue to help us out. Share the link, like, subscribe, let it be known, because we're here. And again, in all of the chaos happening right now, we are a drama-free channel.
True.
We are a crypto channel. We're going to have some fun. We have some great conversations, but ultimately, changing of the time slot does not change the purpose of our channel. Our channel is continuing and will always be to help every single person that joins our community get better, not only in their crypto investments, but better in life so they can help others. My goal is that every single person that engages with our content is able to take something from us and encourage or uplift themselves to change their wealth so they can accomplish things in life they were meant to accomplish and uplift the other people around them as well. That's what we have always been about. That's what we will always be about in the future. The noise, the mess, everything else, if you want that, that's fine. You are not going to be satisfied being here. We're here to uplift. We're here to be hopeful and encouraging and entertaining in a way that helps people get better. That's who we are. So thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Let's engage with chat here a little bit more. What time do we have? Oh, it is 5:01. That means we probably need to go ahead and wrap it out here. Brian D said, I'm 55. Honestly, I'm just trying to leave something for my family. Amen, Brian. Like, I think all of us do. Like, this is something, and I'll close with this. A couple of years ago, about 4 years ago, before I'd ever invested in my first crypto or my first investment whatsoever, the way my brain works was never, Tim, what about retirement? What about what you're going to leave for your kids? My brain had to focus on what is right in front of me. How do I make it to my next paycheck? How do I make it in a world where every single day my dollar that I'm making, I was very aware that my dollar was becoming less valuable. You just go to a grocery store or go look on Zillow for new prices of housing, and you know how worthless your dollar is. But I had no financial hope. So I literally was in a mindset 4 years ago saying the world is chaotic and it's rigged against me, but I have nothing. So I'm just going to try to make the best of what I have. And then I learned about Bitcoin and my life changed. Because now I recognize how terrible our current system is, but there's actually a financial hope that I can do something about this to change the generational wealth being taken away from the middle class every single year. That's many of you. A lot of you guys were worried about, man, I'd been planning for retirement, but I'm starting to look at it and say, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to make it through, let alone leave anything to my children. 4 years later, now my wife and I are already thinking about what's our investments, what are we leaving for our children? Are we putting everything into place so our kids can go to college or do whatever they want to do? We actually are able to live a life where we think about the next 30, 40, 50 years. The reason for that is Bitcoin. The reason for that is because of crypto. And that's something that I'm going to continue to walk through, T-Stream's continue to walk through, and you guys are going to walk through as well. But it's a time that we can keep our head lifted high because we know there is a hope for this failing world. And, you know, when you get a little deeper, there's a bigger hope. But that's something we're going to talk about in a different video. With that said, though, guys, that's all we have for you guys today. Make sure to go check out Around the Blockchain. They are live as we speak. Go show them some love and support. Another channel putting out some amazing crypto educational content. With that said, we'll see you tomorrow morning for our news update, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then tomorrow's live show, once again, 4 p.m. You guys have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that vanity cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.